You can still find it on the internet with some trainers who are out here telling you that you should be able to mess with your dog when they're eating. You should be able to touch them when they're sleeping. You should be able to take a bone right out of their mouth because supposedly this prevents resource guarding. But in reality, if your dog could sit down and have an honest conversation with you, there's probably a few things they'd ask you to stop doing immediately. And no, it's probably not what you think. In fact, the number one thing on this list is something that owners across the world do every single day with their dog because they think it's helping, when in reality, it's often making their dog's behavior worse. But who am I and why should you listen to anything that I'm telling you anyways? Well, I own a dog training facility and I specialize in working with dogs that struggle with behavioral issues such as anxiety, fear, aggression, reactivity, resource guarding, and most of the time, owners are doing a lot of these things which cause these problems. And a lot of those behavioral issues actually start because most dog owners misunderstand what their dog actually needs. So let's count down the top 3 things that your dog wishes you would stop doing, and trust me, number 1 is going to surprise some people. Before we go any further, like this video, share it with somebody you know, subscribe to the channel. I post 2 times per week across all things dog behavior. I want you to be here. All right, let's start with number 3, stop talking to your dog so much. Your dog does not need a TED Talk, yet so many owners narrate their dog's entire life.
Buddy, we talked about this. Why would you do that? Stop barking at the dogs. Don't jump on people. You know better than that. Come on, I need you to listen.
Meanwhile, your dog is sitting there thinking, none of this makes any sense to me. One of the biggest mistakes dog owners make all the time, I see it every day at my facility, is they talk to their dog so much because they think it equals better communication. But in actuality, it makes things a lot more complicated for your dogs. I work with dog owners every single day, and almost everybody makes this mistake. They think that more words equals better communication, but it's actually the opposite in so many cases. Dogs do not learn the same way that humans learn. I made an entire video about that same concept, how dogs actually learn, a couple of weeks ago. Check it out if you haven't already. To sum up that video real quick for you, dogs learn through experiences, repetition, consequences, and patterns. Nowhere did you hear me say long, drawn-out explanations and reasoning. Because the more that you talk to your dog, the easier it becomes for your dog to completely tune you out. Your dog starts to learn that you babble a lot, and none of your words have any direct impact on their lives. Good dog trainers often say very little because every single word matters. From your dog's perspective, when you're talking so much, but none of that has any direct impact on their life, they start to get really confused because they see that you're trying to communicate something, but they don't understand what you're saying. They don't understand what you want from them or don't want from them. This often creates a lot of anxiety for dogs, and almost every single dog that I've ever worked with that struggles with anxiety has an owner that talks to them constantly. And trust me, if I got to ask those dogs and they understood what I said, like, hey, do you like it when they talk to you so much? They would say, no, it's really confusing. I don't understand what they're saying. So stop talking to your dog so much. That's number 3. Okay, number 2 here. This one's a little bit more complex and I'll explain it, but stop rescuing your dog from every little challenge. Now guys, this one is absolutely huge, and it goes right along with dogs that are really nervous, dogs that are insecure, dogs that are anxious. People always want to save them from anything that stresses them out even a little bit, because it's hard to watch your dog struggle. I get it. It's a sad sight, but we need to help dogs overcome challenges instead of rescuing them all the time, because that's actually how dogs build confidence. And again, I get it. People love their dogs. They don't want to hurt them. They only want to help them. They want to protect them. They don't want to see them suffer. But a lot of dog owners step in immediately as soon as the dog feels the tiniest bit of frustration or stress or discomfort, and that is just going to ruin your dog. I'll give you a couple of examples. The dog sees something new in their environment and it gets a little bit nervous, so the owner immediately walks the other way and baby talks them on the way out. The dog whines and cries and barks as soon as it doesn't get something that it wants, so the owner gives in and gives the dog what it wants. The dog gets frustrated. This usually happens for my reactive dogs on leash. When they see one of their triggers and they start blowing up, the owners immediately take them out of the situation. In those situations, that should be a lesson for the dog where you teach them that they can handle this, they can overcome this, they can get through to the other side unharmed. And that's where confidence is built. Confidence is literally built by overcoming obstacles, doing what you thought at one time in your life was impossible for dogs and for humans. It does not come from avoiding anything that causes you the slightest bit of stress. One of the greatest gifts that you can give your dog is to teach them how to work through and overcome obstacles, how to build resilience. Be patient with them. Teach your dog how to work through and tolerate frustration without exploding, teaching them how to regulate their emotions instead of just exploding at everything. This shows your dog and teaches your dog how to actually work through things that they don't know how to do right away. Because guess what? Life is uncomfortable. There are going to be situations, whether you like it or not, where your dog experiences stress. And you can tell totally which owners have intentionally put their dogs in those situations, in controlled situations, so they can teach them how to experience frustration and overcome it, how to experience nervousness and overcome it, and those that have absolutely avoided every single possible stressful situation ever. Shout out to most of my force-free trainers out here who are, tucking their tail and running and teaching their dogs how to tuck their tail and run every time they're scared too. Because ultimately, dogs that never learn how to handle any bit of discomfort often become really anxious, they become very reactive, they can potentially become aggressive, and at the very least, they're definitely going to become overly dependent on their human for everything. To sum it all up, less is more. Your dog would appreciate you helping them through challenges instead of rescuing them from them. Before we talk about number one, let me know in the comments, does your dog struggle with confidence? Does your dog struggle with frustration? Do they struggle with emotional regulation? I would love to be able to help you if I could. All right, on to number one. And this one is one, again, still to this day in 2026, people are doing the wrong things and it's crazy. Leave your dog alone when they are eating, when they are sleeping, or when they're enjoying something. And guys, this one is absolutely so important. And it's one of the worst bits of training advice that's still getting passed around. It's crazy to me. I experience this almost every week when I'm doing consultations for people that are looking for dog training. They'll almost always, when I ask them the question, does your dog resource guard anything? Do they protect anything when they have them? They almost always say, no, I can grab the food right from them. I can touch them. I can pet them when they're eating. I can take a bone right out of their mouth. And in my head, I'm like, and I get it. I come from a place of no judgment, but like in my head, I'm thinking, oh my God, you guys are lucky you haven't gotten bitten yet. Because people are constantly told, I know why people make these mistakes, because you can still find it on the internet with some trainers who are out here telling you that you should be able to mess with your dog when they're eating. You should be able to touch them when they're sleeping. You should be able to take a bone right out of their mouth. You should be able to just put your hand in the middle of their food bowl or their water bowl. You'll see all this type of crazy nonsense from dog trainers everywhere still to this day. Because supposedly, this prevents resource guarding. But in reality, it's actually one of the fastest ways to create resource guarding with your dog. And no, I don't care if you can do all of those things and your dog doesn't bite you. You just probably don't have the dog that would get to that point. Their tolerance for being aggravated and annoyed when they're enjoying something is probably so high. And congrats, you're lucky for that. But maybe you won't be with your next dog. Just listen up with what I have to say here. Think about it if we turn the tables, if we flip this onto you, what you're doing to your dog. So every time you're enjoying a meal, somebody randomly comes up and starts touching your food. Every time you were sitting down enjoying your favorite hobby, somebody came over and took it away, but then gave it back to you. How long exactly would it be before you got annoyed? Now again, with people, it'd be the same thing. We're all different, just like every dog is different. Some people, would be the first instance you'd hear something. Sometimes people would just tolerate it and tolerate it and tolerate it and never ever do anything about it. But that doesn't mean it's okay, and that doesn't mean it's a worthwhile action. Now imagine if you're a dog, you sit down and you're about to enjoy a bone, and here comes your human out of nowhere just to see if they could grab the bone from you. What do you think the dog starts learning in those situations? It's certainly not like, oh, I love my human, I can't wait for them to come over and bother me every time I'm about to relax. In actuality, the dog starts learning that humans make good things disappear. They learn that humans interrupt us all the time. and they learn that the human comes over and bothers you every single time you have something valuable. And that mindset that humans have is exactly what creates tension around resources. And now, to be abundantly clear before somebody says anything, you guys all know me. Your dog should definitely not own any resources. That's not what I'm saying here. Your dog should absolutely know how to drop it. They should know how to leave it. They should be able to relinquish things when they ask. They could have a good out command. All of these are critical parts of having a well-trained and well-behaved dog. But constantly bothering your dog when they're eating, when they're sleeping, or when they're enjoying something isn't teaching respect at all. It's actually teaching disrespect. It's actually ruining your trust that you have with your dog. Sometimes the best thing you can do is let a dog enjoy being a dog. Let them eat without bothering them. Let them drink water without bothering them. Let them enjoy a bone without bothering them. Let them sleep without bothering them. Let them just relax without feeling the need to insert yourself into every moment of the dog's life. I guarantee if we got to actually ask dogs if they like it when they're bothered, when they're eating, sleeping, or enjoying something, every single dog would say, hell no, I would rather be ignored in those moments. Now, this isn't always the case, but a lot of behavioral issues don't come from dog owners doing too little. It comes from dog owners doing too much. Too much talking, too much rescuing, too much interference all the time. I promise you, if your dog could tell you one thing, it would probably be to stop inserting yourself into every single thing they do. I don't need you to be talking to me all day, every day. I don't need a speech every 5 minutes. I don't need you to rescue me from every little challenge. I can do this, just give me a chance. And I most definitely don't need you bothering me every time I'm trying to relax or enjoy something. Sometimes the best thing that you can do for your dog is provide them with good structure, clarity, guidance, and accountability for their actions, and then step back and let them be a dog. Because confident, stable dogs are not created by owners that are constantly interfering. They're created by owners who know when to step in and when to leave their dog alone. If you enjoyed this video at all, please give it a like, hit subscribe, share it with somebody that you know. It does a lot for me. I appreciate it a ton, and it helps me reach more dog owners out there who are trying to help their dog in every way they can. I'm the Big Dog Guy, and I'll see you in the next one.